Hello students, I would like to welcome all of you all on behalf of Manish Tutorials for the paper solution of Standard 10. The paper conducted was a 30 marks and the time allotted was 1 hour and 60 minutes. The concepts that we covered in the paper were Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 1 and 10. Now let's talk about how you're basically going to write the answers. Of course, you all are trained to write the answers. You'll have done that in the ninth standard. But still, some of you all, no matter how well an answer is written, the question arises is, why am I not scoring full marks? So in order to get to that level of full marks, there are certain things that need to be understood and they need to be followed. Whenever you are being given a question, now let's say your paper was of 30 marks, so you basically have three questions, 10 marks each. So divide your paper, time your questions. Do not spend more than 15 minutes per question. You have to understand one thing, that every question has to be allotted only 15 minutes. So 15 plus 15 plus 15 is equal to 45. 60 minutes, out of which 45 minutes should be a writing time and the remaining 15 minutes should be a buffer time. Now, when I say a buffer time, what do you mean by the word buffer? It simply means that you're giving 15 minutes extra to cross-checking your paper, to reading your paper, to finding out any kind of mistakes that you have made in the paper accidentally and rectifying them. Remember, paper checking at the end is very, very important because when you check your paper, you recheck your paper again and again, you actually find out so many errors that you've made in the paper. And when you recheck your paper, find out the errors, rectify them, that is when you stand a chance to score better marks in the examination. So remember, rechecking your paper is one very important thing that you have to do in every examination. Be it it's a 20 mark paper, be it a 30 mark paper, or for that matter, let it be an 80 mark paper. You have to give yourself the time to recheck the paper and hence do not spend more than 15 minutes per question. If you stick to your time limit, you will never ever miss out on the paper. Now, how does this strictness come? How do you stick to your time limit? Is by sheer practicing. A lot of students ask me, ma'am, how do I score the maximum in literature? And my only question answer to them is solve papers. And you're like, that is a solution every teacher gives. What is there in solving paper? I tell you what, guys, when you solve multiple papers, okay, now when you solve like 10 or 15 papers for that matter, you actually get an idea of the different kinds of questions that can be asked in the paper. Like, for example, at 3 scene 1, I have a set of three questions for you all. Maybe when you start solving another paper, you might get different kinds of questions from Act 3 scene 1. And this is how it prepares you for any kind of question that is asked in the examination. Remember, if you want to be a topper in the examination, the only golden rule is to solve and solve and solve papers. The more papers you solve, the more questions you attempt, remember, you will get prepared for any kind of question that is asked in the examination. And it's the practice, it's rightly said in English, practice makes a man perfect. So you have to keep on practicing, practicing, and practicing. And you can't be like, okay, I'm done solving five papers, now I'm prepared. No, you have to keep on practicing and practicing until the D day, that is your board examination. Okay, proceeding further with our topic, guys, let's talk about the passages that we have in the paper here. Okay, the first comprehension we're talking about, of course, is from Act 3, Scene 1. Okay, here is a dialogue that has been, narrated by Shylock, where he's actually calling Antonio a bankrupt and a prodigal. Now, remember, guys, the word bankrupt has also been used in Act 1, Scene 1, but that time the word bankrupt was used for Bassanio. This time the word bankrupt has been used for Antonio. So please, please, please be very careful. Bankrupt, prodigal, these two words were used in Act 1, Scene 1 for Bassanio. But in Act 3, Scene 1, these two words are not used for Bassanio, but they are used for Antonio. A lot of times, students, the moment they see the word bankrupt and prodigal, they're like, okay, this is definitely for Bassanio. No, this is not for Bassanio, but this is for Antonio. So remember, if the word bankrupt and prodigal comes in the examination from Act 3, Scene 1, you'll have to write about Antonio and not Bassanio. Okay, now let us talk about this question further. What does prodigal mean? Who is being called a prodigal? Why? Three questions have been asked for 4 marks. We are never ever going to begin our answer with the answer directly. Now, when I say we're not going to begin the answer with the answer directly, simply means do not jump to the first question and start writing the answer. No. The paper corrector wants to see how much you know about your concept. And the only simple way of, proving it to them that, look, I know the concept very well, is to give a brief introduction of the extract. Talk about from where this extract has been taken, from which act it has been taken, and give a simple summary of that extract. See what we have written over here. The extract has been taken from Act 3, Scene 1, where we see Salanio and Salanio discussing the probable shipwreck, okay, the sinking of the ship of Antonio. Later on, we see Antonio entering the scene. After that, we also see Tubal entering the scene. Now let's talk about, so this kind of brief introduction is important. This always enhances your answer. Now you do not have to write this particular introduction before every answer. No. Suppose you have got the paragraph. The moment you're going to begin with your first answer, before that, just write down the lines of introduction and then proceed with your first answer. So always, whenever you're beginning your answer, whenever you're beginning a passage, first thing, give an extract of barely 3 lines, maximum 4, not more than that, and then you begin with your answer. This will always help you enhance the quality of your answer. And it is going to create an impression in the mind of the paper corrector. This child knows the concept really well. Okay? Which is very, very important for us to create that impression in the mind of the paper corrector that we know what we are talking about. Right? Let's move on to the answer. What does prodigal mean? We all know what prodigal is a person who has no control on his spending. He's a spendthrift. Okay? And why is Shylock calling him a prodigal? Because according to Shylock, Antonio has been a spendthrift. He always, gives money to people. He lends money to people without even charging a rate of interest. Okay. At this point of time, Antonio is ashamed. He doesn't have the guts to come onto the Rialto, the Venetian Stock Exchange, because he feels that the other merchants along with Shylock are going to make fun of him. But this is Shylock's belief. Okay. Why does he call Antonio a prodigal? The reason is very simple, because Antonio wouldn't know how to control his spending. He would give money to people without charging a rate of interest. Thus, he would incur a lot of losses. And Shylock further says that he used to come smiling and proud at the exchange, but now he's a beggar. So basically, he's calling Antonio to be a beggar now, and he's calling him a prodigal. Remember, guys, the only way of getting marks in the paper is to use the keywords. Now, what are keywords basically? Your paper corrector, when reading an answer, will want to see the keywords. What are keywords? Then there's no rocket science behind the word keyword. It is just simply the one word answer to a question. What does prodigal mean? Prodigal means a spendthrift. So my keyword here is a spendthrift. Remember, the main word to an answer is the keyword. Who is being called a prodigal? So my keyword here is Antonio is being called a prodigal. Okay, then you can add also when you're asking third question, why? So Antonio is being called a prodigal because according to Shylock, he would lend out money to people without charging a rate of interest. So now my keyword would be without charging interest and lend out money. This is how these kind of keywords are asked in the paper corrector wants to see in your paper while you're writing an examination. Okay, proceeding further, guys. It's only the keyword that is going to help you score the maximum marks in the paper. Give incidents to show that Shylock was insulted by Antonio. Remember Shylock saying that he called me a cur, he spat on me, he spat on my garbage time. Okay, so all these instances have to be written over here. So first, we are going to talk about the good-natured Antonio. We are going to talk about how wonderful Antonio is, but how much Shylock hates Antonio. And of course, let's understand that even Antonio had a kind of hatred for Jews. Why did he hate the Jews? Because Shylock, who is a Jew, would lend out money to people, but he would charge a rate of interest. And in Christianity, in the religion Christianity, it is considered to be a sin to charge interest to people. Okay, so here we are going to talk something about Antonio and his relationship with the Jews. Later on, we are going to talk about how Antonio insulted Shylock. So the moment Shylock comes to know that Antonio has lost his ship, so he's having a hearty laugh. He's very, very happy to see his enemy suffering. Okay. He then remembers that how Antonio spoke bad about him. He called him a usurer. When I say a usurer, it simply means a person who charges a rate of interest. Okay. Who lends money to people by charging a high rate of interest. Antonio also, called him a cur and, even spat on his Jewish robe. These things you'll have to mention. What are the keywords that we have over here? First of all, why did Shylock narrate the incidents of the insults that were, given to him by Antonio? Because he is very happy that Antonio is suffering. So first of all, the first keyword is Shylock is happy to see his enemy suffering. Then the next keywords are usurer, okay, lending money at unfair rate of interest, and a dog, and spat on a Jewish show. Remember, guys, these are our keywords. Okay, let us now move on to the third question. Explain, let him look to his bond. He was born to lend money for a Christian courtesy. Let him look to his bond. Remember, guys, whenever a question is asked to explain a particular line from the extract itself, you have to give the simplified version of that particular line. Okay, you have to give the simplified version to that particular line by using the words from the extract itself. Now, you're not going to write down the line as it is that is given in the textbook. Of course, that's not possible. So you're going to just pick out a few words from the extract and you're going to write it in sentences of your own. Let us see the kind of answer we have over here. What explanation do we have for this sentence? Let him look to his bond. So Shylock says these lines to Antonio. Okay, Antonio is often called Shylock a usurer, and now according to Shylock, it is time to give it back to Antonio. So he's warning Antonio. He's literally warning Antonio that you better be very careful about the bond. First of all, he hates Antonio because he does not charge any rate of interest, and Antonio always interferes in Shylock's business as well. So Shylock hates the interfering nature of Antonio, and that is why now he's warning Antonio that look, you have become a prodigal person. You are a bankrupt right now, so you better be very, very careful about your bond. You ensure that you now pay your bond on time, otherwise you're going to face the consequences. Proceeding further, why, there, a diamond bond cost me 2,000 ducats in Frankfurt. The curse never fell upon our nation till now. So these lines clearly show that how much disheartened or how much, Shylock was hurt when he got to know that his daughter Jessica, along with her husband Lorenzo, were spending Shylock's hard-earned money. Okay, let us talk about the first question. The curse never fell upon our nation till now. You have to again explain these lines. So simply, guys, you'll have to give the detailed explanation of this particular line by picking out a few words from the extract itself. Now, we never begin the answer directly. First, we're going to give an introduction of the theme. Even if the introduction for both the passages are same, it's okay. You have to repeat the introduction. Okay, so again, this extract has been taken from Act 3, Scene 1, where we see Salarino and Salarino talking about the probable shipwreck of Antonio. Later on, we see Shylock entering the scene along with Tudor. Okay, so the above lines project Shylock's selfish nature. At this point also, where Shylock had literally lost his daughter, he was not keen on finding his daughter, but he was more keen on the money. So here, the selfish nature of Shylock is highlighted. Okay, he's just complaining about all the gold and jewels that is gone, but he is not, at this point of time, ready to think about his daughter. So when he says the curse never fell upon a nation till now, so according to Shylock, this is the worst that has ever happened to the Jewish community. He says nothing bad like this has happened before, and I'm sure nothing bad like this will ever happen in the future. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to the Jewish community. What was the worst thing? A Jew daughter, a Jewish daughter, running away with a Christian son. A Jew running away with a Christian and getting herself converted into a Christian was the biggest curse that the Jewish community ever faced, according to China. What is Jessica stolen? What does Shylock wish for in his race over the theft? So here again the keywords we are going to talk about. What does Jessica stolen? Two seal bags of double ducats. Okay, two precious stones, one diamond, one turquoise, and many other precious jewels. The keywords are double ducats, precious stones, diamond, and turquoise. Okay. So why did Shylock wish for in his rage over the theft? So Shylock at this point of time is so angry on losing his money that he is least bothered about his daughter. He just wants his daughter to be dead. He says that I would rather wish my daughter to be dead in front of me at my foot rather than I see her alive. So here again we get to know the cruel heart of Shylock, which is not ready to forgive the daughter, but is more keen on getting back his money. Right? So guys, please remember the keyword is the only key to getting best marks in the answer. The keywords are nothing but the main words of your question. Who is Tubal? What does Shylock ask Tubal soon after Salanio and Salarino leave? What reply does Tubal give? So come on, let's answer the question one by one with the keywords. Who is Tubal? He's another Jew, a very good friend of Shylock. What does Shylock ask Tubal soon after Salanio and Salarino leave? Okay. First of all, he's asking the news about his daughter, who was last seen and heard at Genoa. Okay, what reply has been given by Tubal? So Tubal simply replied that in spite of searching everywhere, he was not able to find Jessica, and he thinks that Jessica and Lorenzo have ran away from Genoa also. So the keywords were first another Jew friend. Okay, for the first question, the question that was asked by Shylock to Tubal was about the news of his daughter from Genoa, and what reply was given by Tubal that they might have gone some other place. Okay, so these are your keywords. Let's repeat further. Yes, guys. Now we move on to the third question, that is tenses. Majority of the time, tenses paragraph has a trick. Okay. Now this trick works 90% of the time. And the trick is that if the very first blank is a past tense, if the very first blank, that the answer that is given to you is in the past tense, always try always try fitting in the past tense of the word that is given to you in the back bracket. The plane had been hired to transport a food. The first word is past word itself. The baby elephant as a gift from India to Nigeria. Now, just before the plane departed, okay, just before the plane departed, again, see, I've got another past tense. The co-pilot checked the wooden crate and reported that it looked safe. I have just heard from the ground control, the pilot said, our flight will be due in 15 minutes. Whenever the word be comes, okay, whenever the word be comes, at times it is in future tense. At times it is in future tense. So remember guys, the only trick you can understand when you're solving tenses and to ensure that you do not lose marks in tenses, just see the first verb that is given. What is the tense of the first verb? If it's past, try fitting all the blanks in past tense first. If majority of them will fit. If some of them won't fit, then try either future or present tense. Of course, the remaining tenses. But first, give priority to the past tense. Now, just don't stick to simple past. You may also try past continuous or past perfect continuous. See, the plane had been hired. So had been hired is a past perfect continuous tense. Then just before the plane departed. The plane departed, it is simple past. So just carefully look at the word and try fitting in the tense that is given in the very first answer. If it's past, try fitting in the past form. If not, then try looking out for other words or other forms of verb. Okay, so come on. We will take off from runway number 10, which is the crew knew. Again, past tense, how dramatic their flight would go. Okay, or will be. Okay, when the plane was over, Apu broke from his crate and entered the flight cabin. Again, we have the past tense. He made a meal of ice cream and bananas. Okay, and drank cold drinks and sprayed some on the pilot. The co-pilot finally caught him by the chain while the pilot made an emergency landing in Kenya. Okay, so just have a look, guys. Most of the time, it may be past tense. If the first verb is past tense, Majority of them is going to be in past tense. If you do not find the past tense, then look for other verbs. But first, give priority to past tense. Now, if your first verb is in future tense, then start giving priority to future tense in all the blanks. If the future tense doesn't seem to fit, then try giving priority to other verbs. Okay, I hope this helps, guys. And stay home, stay safe. Bye, guys. Take care.